yeah, I'm ready, David. There are just so many amazing women athletes out here today. It makes me so proud.
Now, this is the first year that a trans woman is in the competition. How do you feel about that?
Amazing. I feel honored to be a part of history. I have a lot of incredible trans friends who are athletes, and so we're all inspired this woman's competing.
Uh-huh. And, have you actually ever met Heather Swanson?
No, I've never competed against her before, no.
She's not exactly your average trans athlete.
Well, what is an average trans athlete? Honestly, I find that kind of bigoted, David.
Okay. Heather Swanson is actually joining us now. Miss Swanson, how does it feel to be competing today?
I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying as a woman. Now that I can compete as female, I'm ready to smash the other girls.
And is it correct you just started identifying as female 2 weeks ago?
I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some f***ing ass. Let me tell you something, Dingleberry.
David Perry.
I'm gonna roll up the other women here, and I'm gonna smoke them. I am the strongest woman this state has ever seen.
Any words for the challenger, Miss Woman?
Good luck, Heather.
Luck is for dudes.
My concern as a martial arts expert is when you are using ideology to push this progressive notion that, you know, a trans woman is exactly the same as a woman, and you're getting women beat the fuck up because of it.
Women empowerment. Are we becoming too careful to not offend any group of people? Ladies, we have to use our common sense. Please listen to this carefully. You are looking at two fighters, one named Fallon Fox, the other is named Tamika. Fallon Fox is a well-known transgender female fighter in the MMA world. Well, Tamika thought she was up for the challenge. Now, Tamika said she thought it would be just another fight. She did not realize she was going to suffer serious injuries before getting TKO. So check it out. Everything happened in the first round, and in the first 2.5 minutes, it was messy, bloody, and it was not easy for people to view this. Tamika suffered a concussion, a broken skull, and Fallon Fox was not willing to stop until Tamika was finally TK'd.
Do you know a woman who's got a hand that looks like that?
Yeah.
Find one. Find one. Because if I took estrogen, I'd still have these. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just not. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. It's just not. I mean, even a woman with big hands, they're not that big. They're not like Brock Lesnar's hands. There's a difference. There's a fucking difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the shape of the jaw. There's a difference in... there's so many differences.
Transgender MMA fighter has said she wants a license to fight in California.
A biological male has just become the first transgender person to win a world title in cycling.
First transgender weightlifter winning her maiden international event as a woman.
A biological male winning a gold medal in a women's event now seems a matter of when, not if.
Since sports events began, men and women have been segregated by gender to make the competitive events fairer due to differences in muscle mass, innate strength, or testosterone levels. But nowadays, these physical differences no longer seem to be a determining factor.
There are all kinds of reasons that people have advantages. Somebody's parents can give them year-round training. Somebody else is really, really tall and someone's really, really short.
Sport has never been fair. You bought into that myth, so have a lot of other people. But let's face it, if I wanted to be a jockey, I couldn't be. Nature endows her gifts unevenly in society.
It's true that some physical characteristics give athletes an unusual advantage in sports, like Michael Phelps's long arms or Usain Bolt's height. But the genetic difference of being born as a male or female and competing with the opposite gender proved to be more of a determining factor than any bodily developments in sports.
Should transgender women fight females who were born female, okay? And Tamika says she's never felt so overpowered in her life. She usually feels strong, but she is now saying she disagrees with women who were born women fighting transgender women, okay?
Well, especially when it comes to fighting.
Fuck yeah, man.
That was the big one. And that was where I really understood like how bizarre and
the
how
defensive
cult,
for that?
Yeah, how cult-like this ideology is.
I'd like to see you transition to a woman and fight women.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Fucking to have what, 12 murder charges? That would be the fun part?
It doesn't make any sense.
No, of course not.
The bone structure is so different, and people that deny that are fucking crazy.
So what do you guys think about this story? Leave comments below. I am going to read a quote. It says, 20 years ago, if a man hit a woman so hard that he sent her to the hospital, he'd be in prison. Now he can get paid for it. What is your thoughts on this story?
You guys can kiss my fucking ass. You're out of your mind. You guys are out of your mind if you think that a man who has been a man for 30 years and has taken female hormones for 2 is the same.
What if I like transition, whatever, anyone, a man, and does powerlifting?
Well, people have done that, and they're winning and breaking all these records.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
And why are we not stopping being like, that doesn't
Because
count.
we want to save people's feelings.
Exactly.
There's so many women that used to be men that transition to being women that are now dominating these sports, and these women feel like they're being fucked over. Like weightlifting. There was this Australian weightlifter who's a trans woman who's competing as a woman and is fucking breaking records left and right. And everybody's like, this is crazy. She's an inspiration.
Yeah.
No, she's a guy!
I think it's interesting that in this, because it is pitting people who would call themselves feminist against transgender activists, and it's basically women are being lost in the mix. So you can't say certain things like, on what planet would it be okay for someone who is born male to fight a woman?
And you're still going to have those benefits. You're going to have the bone structure, the slightly bigger heart, more red blood cells. So therefore, a female athlete competing against a transgender female is always going to be at a disadvantage.
Testosterone levels are important because the amount of the hormone defines the eligibility of athletes to compete whenever sporting events are limited to a single sex.
The idea that we need to protect women's or female sport from other women and females is itself inherently discriminatory. No testosterone policy will ever work.
Male to female athletes no longer need to have reassignment surgery. In the middle of all this legal mess, Zuby, a UK-based rapper, basically identified as a female and broke British women's weightlifting records.
Saying, look, I'm not a professional powerlifter, but even I myself, I can stroll into the gym on any given day and I can break the British women's bench press record. I can break the British women's deadlift record. When I'm on form, I could potentially break the British female squat record. And I don't even compete.
So if you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance-enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago, and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's bullshit.